Well, hello, I'm Bob Dendry, this is Boring Guy Plays, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. As you can see, we're probably going to be dealing with congestion again in this episode, and I'm hopeful that we can make some difference in this sort of El Paso to Richmond corridor that we're looking at right now. So let's jump in and see what we can do. So this corridor right here that sort of goes from this small bridge over our Dayton to Roseville line, pretty much all the way back to our sort of second, even first junction for El Paso is, you know, traffic is backed up, and it's backed up pretty badly. And I'm not entirely sure how we will deal with that. What the hell is that? That's no good. Not going to be able to get through that very well. There is one thing I do want to point out first of all, and it's to do with our public transport network around El Paso, and it's that it's a bit crap. When we put in our high-speed outer suburban loop, we set it up with a transfer service that just runs from this station over to our original El Paso station. And given the growth in demand and usage and patronage of our outer suburban loops, that doesn't really cut it anymore. So we're going to put a lot of effort, I think, here into transforming the public transport capability within El Paso, because especially if you look at, you know, from where we're looking at the top of the town, there's so much residential there and there's just no coverage at all. So that could be an issue. So what I want to do, first of all, I think the transfer service in itself is fine. I don't see a problem with it, but we need more than just that to get people to the outer suburban loop. So first of all, I'm also going to replace these vehicles with some new electric buses, because I love the electric buses. As you may or may not know about me, I am a big fan of electric vehicles, and we'll also get a couple more ones in there as well, because that will... Obviously, we've got a few people that are having to sit and wait pretty much all the stations, really. But yeah, this area here is an issue. No service, which means people are going to be driving more. They're going to say, I can't be bothered driving to a station or driving to a bus stop. I'm just going to, I'm just going to just drive the whole way. So they hop in their car, hop onto the motorway, and there we have issues with congestion. El Paso is also one of our larger towns as well. Let's bring up our town directory and just have a look at the size. I mean, it's sort of mid-range, actually. It's not one of the larger towns, but it is what it is. And there's also a couple of changes we probably need to make here. We've really only got one crossing of our train tracks, this very ugly looking bridge we built. You can, of course, go around, go onto this highway and cut back through as well, which that's actually a fairly new connection we've made. But there's congestion there as well, so people aren't going to want to do it. You know, if they're going to be sitting in congestion, may as well take the shorter route rather than having to go, around the world, I guess. So before we go too much further, I'm just going to try and get a few more bridge connections over this line. I was going to say I'm hopeful we can get one there, but no, that is too low. But we should be able to get something else in, I think. And it looks like we can... Yeah, we can get a bridge in there. Can we go any lower? Probably not. Let's just see how low we can do it. Okay, we can do it around about there. And we'll make this a pillarless bridge as well. And then we can just sort of... I think switch this to curved. We should be able to hook in somewhere here, right? And maybe even just directly like that. I'll have to remove two buildings, but it's the price we have to pay, I guess, isn't it? That's not really attractive, but probably don't have much other choice. This isn't a massively busy line, so I'm okay, I think, with having some grade crossings as well. Just so we can make sure we you know, we've got redundancy in the connections we've got there. So that should be a nice little bit to start with. And yeah, let's try get some bus services in, especially for these people who live up in the hills. That would be quite a struggle, I think. Certainly you couldn't walk to the station, I don't think. That would be a little bit silly, wouldn't it? I think I'd like to do something different as well with this. Possibly shift out our old freight station to somewhere else, because I don't know if it works anymore being where it is. But we'll see, we'll see. Alright, so we should be right now to set up a new line. We might get some buses purchased first. Our road depot is sort of in the middle of the city. I don't know if that makes sense anymore, but we'll just let it lie for the moment. So we'll get 5 new buses purchased, and we will establish a new line. Okay, so let's go El Paso Heights via Broadway. As this is Broadway here. Apparently, I don't think it's a very Broadway. But yeah, we're going to do that. And then I think I would like to get some transit that will get people over to El Paso West Station as well. And once again, we'll get a few buses to run on this. And we missed one connection, I believe. At View Street. Cool, okay. I don't think we really have a special name for this one. It's just going to be El Paso number 2. And I wouldn't mind also having one, which could potentially actually replace the transfer service. Might run from sort of maybe over here, also run across down this street here, and then over into the transfer stop. Might have a transfer point there, so that'll be a shared stop. And then it'll follow sort of the whatever thing. So yes, we will actually be changing El Paso transfer. It won't be going from over here anymore. Instead, we will be going... We'll start... I built truck stops, didn't I? Thanks for telling me that, guys. I really appreciate it. You should have stopped me and told me that I was being an idiot. No. I know you guys aren't superheroes. You can't do that. You're watching probably a couple of days after I recorded this. So, all is forgiven. Autosaves take so long these days. What do we get up to? Okay, cool. All right. But for the people who do want to jump in their cars and make the trip that way, we want to try and fix things up for them as well. Because, I mean, it's not a great experience. Regardless of the fact that we want to try and shift people towards, you know, public transit, we still don't want people to have a terrible experience regardless. So we're going to try and improve things here. I think what we're going to do is try to realign our railway tracks, and also do something a little bit different with these 2 junctions, and potentially even add a 3rd exit along this corridor, one sort of that joins up to maybe this road here, and have the one that's here right now a little bit further into the city, because we do actually have a bit of room that we can use. We've got quite a bit of land that's not being used, or with fairly small buildings that we could potentially acquire. So That, of course, is an option. First of all, let's pause and pull some of this stuff out. I didn't mean to do that, but that's probably what we're going to have to do anyway, so at the end of the day, it's not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of start to dig down quickly and as far as we can. And it's not looking great, actually. Maybe there was a reason why I didn't dig here originally. The other option we could do is actually make this an underground station. And I think we could actually do that. So let's pull this guy out. Let's get the underground station in wherever it may be. Take a little bit deeper as well. And yeah, it's a slightly different alignment, but we probably would have had to have changed alignment, I think, rather than have it sitting on the same sort of lie if we were rebuilding this while the other one was still running, which realistically we would have done that. Actually, we need to build a 2-platform station. I think we've only built one. Okay, that is actually fixed and can just start running again. So we might unpause. Wait till this person here moves off. And we'll also need to re-signal, obviously, these sections as well. I think we've got a train that's actually running the wrong way right now, so we might need to allow it to finish what it was doing before we build those signals. Alright, that should be good now, so I'm going to remove this old alignment. Alright, so that should be all good now. And hopefully we'll start to see some people coming through from the new lines we've set up as well. It does look like there's a few people that are starting to want to use those new bus lines, which is good to see. But yeah, not too much right now. But yeah, by removing that railway crossing over the top here, we can definitely improve what we're doing here. I think we can remove this tunnel potentially altogether, or if not, we can certainly shorten the lengths of the tunnel and the ramps specifically. All right, so let's see if we can get these to work. Okay, they are not at all parallel. I might even actually rebuild all of this to make it parallel and a lot nicer. Sorry, everyone. All right, so we're going to build one side of it then, and then we'll go back and make a parallel connection, I think. Definitely some anti-gravity stuff happening there. Okay, and let's try and use the parallel tool now. I'm hoping it will work, because once again, my track record is very, shall we say, inconsistent with it. I think we're going to, yeah, collision, that's fair enough. What about if we do now? Collision. Try the other side. Not complaining yet. Oh, never mind. Collision. What if we delete these? Which, to be honest, at this stage, we're pretty much better off just building a bridge over the top, considering we've got rid of everything. Yeah, let's just do that. And let's try this again. It would be so nice if it gave us like a bit more explanation. There we go. Yes, it worked. Okay. All right. That is excellent. Yeah, it's running in the right direction as well. And yeah, we should be able to connect up there. No issues. And we should be able to just connect up here. No issues as well. Cool. There you go. Probably give things a little bit of a smooth. Here as well, we'll flatten out this bit of land. And yeah, we can probably build sort of a main road into the city from there. Which is not actually the route I expected it to be. I expected it to run sort of via that instead. And I wonder if we can force people to do that instead with some targeted road editing, shall we say. And we might build a sort of cross road as well. See if we can try and get people to prefer this route to the ones they're using right now. If not, we can always change the configuration to do this instead. That's okay. But yeah, we should be able to get over the top here without too much effort. Very nice. Now we can get our ramps built. Oh, there's a bus in the way there, so I can't actually remove that. All right, and what we'll do here, that will become 3-lane, and I'm going to do what I sort of did last episode and add some short single-lane sections on either end here, just to clean things up a little bit. So where is our ramp? There we are. So we will build some little short stubs there. That's just to create a new sort of section. And then we can sort of make a... Ooh, construction not possible. Well, it's possible there. So I don't know why it's not possible there. We can relay those bits though. Oh, okay. Maybe we can't. Maybe there is something to be said after all. Okay. That's interesting. So what is the problem? Why can't we connect there? We potentially just need to come at a bit of a more dramatic angle. Yeah, okay. That appears to solve that. Okay, we've got very large ramps, as you can see. Don't know if it's realistic to have ramps that large. Probably not, but it is okay. Now, looking at where our motorway goes, I was proposing we have some exits here. Don't know if that will actually work, because it is quite out of the way, unless we reroute it to go more under the city itself. Which I don't know if you do that in real life. Just be like, oh, I just feel like moving the motorway, so we're going to put it somewhere else. Don't think that would happen, but we might have to do it. And we can just pretend it was always that way, right? It's actually not what I want that to be. No, we don't want it to be there. Just thinking how we can make this better. Because this here, that will tidy things up a bit, but it's not going to make a massive difference to the overall performance of the motorway. This is very messy. We could potentially solve this by making this like a one-way interchange, so you can't enter. Heading sort of towards into the city, you can only sort of exit coming the other direction, if that makes sense. That may increase the throughput a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to make a real difference. But it's possibly a first step we can make. So if we remove these connections here, we can change this to one way in both sort of directions, if that makes sense. Run sort of just one way. And we can do the same here as well, though I want to make that not quite as fugly. I think we're going to lose houses here because I don't think people can live on highways. But that should increase the throughput. We'll see if that actually happens in practice, but I think it should be good. Over here, this is actually pretty decent. It doesn't really need any work. It's heavily, or I would say not even heavily, it's well utilized, but it's still fine. Dayton is fine as well. We got not having massive backups there, though we could potentially fix this, remove the second sort of intersection within a short distance. And that will make that a little bit nicer. The other thing I was wanting to work on that I actually forgot about was this thing here. I'm not happy with it. And I had some ideas of how we can actually make it flow a little bit better. So I want to get rid of a lot of this, to be completely honest. So what I'm going to do, we're going to get our 2-lane country road. We're actually going to connect it directly over there, first of all. Next, I'm going to... I'm just making this up as I go, so just FYI. If this turns to crap, that is why. That is a two-way road as well, so that is not actually the road we want there. We want this one. And then what we will have happen... a Okay, too much slope. I think we can fix this somehow. Okay, cool. So there is somewhere where that works. Yep, over there. And that will slowly make its way up somewhere to join up to this motorway. It will eventually get there. Yes, it will. Okay, and then we will have another one-way. We'll shoot across, hopefully, if we can get it to do that. Oh, I reckon that should be high enough to bridge over the top there. Let's try it again, though. Okay, saying too much slope, so I reckon we can make that not be too much slope. Okay. Make its way across. At the same time, starting to go down. And then, somewhere, like right there, it will actually join up there. So it's removing one of the big conflict points there where if you are previously, and we can see it from the other side, if you're entering here, you also need to shift across into the middle lane to not exit again. Which is a big point of conflict, and it causes sort of weaving movements. This is spaghetti, 100% to the max. There's no getting around that, I think, from how we've sort of set this up to run. But this is a lot more optimized, I hope, anyway. The other thing we can do is just return that to be a one lane. So that sort of removes all the conflict points. And we should be able to do the same thing over here. So we get our two-way connection. Like so. We break off here if we can. Sure, we should be able to do it somewhere. That actually needs to happen a lot earlier, actually. I think. Yeah, it does. Okay, that works. A little bit ugly, but it's probably okay. And then what we can actually do with this guy, potentially anyway, is have him exit. Head over the top. Then come down. Hopefully. Maybe give it a little bit more space. So that removes a lot of that weaving. Once again, I don't necessarily think this is the best looking connection, but it's probably a lot better than it was. We'd even create an additional connection between El Paso and Richmond via this exit entry, whatever. We could just sort of connect onto the end here and then have it flow through into sort of this direction here. This is not a massively busy rail corridor, but I think we will bridge it nonetheless. We can do by doing some stuff there. So what we could do, that is ugly. I don't like that connection at all. A direct connection like so. Too much slopey slope. So that is, whoops, did not mean to pause there. That is once again another, hopefully, nice connection that we will start to have some people use. It looks like this is starting to clear up a little bit, but a lot of people are leaving it till the last minute to change lanes, as they always tend to do in this game, so the congestion is sort of just moving back a little bit. I wonder if we would be served well to try and bypass Everett for those coming from Salem that don't actually need to go there. Because obviously we've built this sort of bypass road, which I think is, I mean, I don't know if it's doing too much, but there are people using it. So I wonder if we could do the same here, have it sort of break off maybe where we have this little stub road and see if we can do anything there. If we go just like a 2-lane or 2-way road, just sort of make its way. Yeah, maybe have it just join up with this existing road here. What if we get any purchase from that? What if we have any people who will actually want to use it? We'll leave it a little while and come back and have a look at it. And while we're waiting for some of those road improvements to hopefully come to fruition, shall we say, it's time to revisit our dude, where's our house line, as we do appear to have a little bit of overflowing demand here. So Roseville, we've got 350-ish waiting. Chesapeake, we've got almost 600. Charleston South, not many, but it's sort of on the periphery. That's fine. Flint, yeah, getting up there. San Francisco, very much getting up there. Once again, Laredo transfer is a sort of peripheral type station. Wichita Falls Exchange, we haven't really had the demand I expected we'd have, you know, plopping it sort of in the middle of the CBD area here, but there's still some people there. And Chandler, once again, reasonably busy, but not massively so. So I think we might have one more ACLR Express train sitting here good to go, and we do, so we will actually apply it to our line. And let's have a look and see how our other high-speed lines are going. HS3 looks like potentially we might need to put another train on here. I think it's okay at the moment, but definitely something we'll need to keep an eye on. And our Dayton to Roseville passenger line, however, I believe is something that, ooh, look at that. We've got massive balance and we've also got massive overflowing demand as well. So I think we might try and get an additional one, let's say at this point, one train running on this. So I think we will get ALC 42s running here. We're just going to run the same sort of setup as we have with the existing trains on that line, but we're going to use some venture cars on this. Once again, we're going to be running Midwest because we don't have anything else. And that's okay. Now, our auxiliary power vehicle is interesting here because this would actually allow us to take advantage of wires where they're present. I don't think there's actually much. In fact, even any at all, maybe. But it's still something I think we could probably pop on there. So we can apply this now to our Dayton to Roseville line. I've had a bit of a further look at our services, especially around Charleston and Chesapeake, and I think we probably can get an additional one train on each of our high-speed lines. Now, we don't have any more Acela Expresses stored, so we're going to need to purchase some new vehicles. And what are we going to be purchasing? Well, Acela Express are a bit old school now. We do have the Amtrak Avelia Liberty, so we will actually be switching over to run some of those. If we compare their capabilities, look at this, they're a lot faster, a lot higher capacity, in fact. And what's their length? 255. They're actually a little bit longer. We have a look. How do I do this? I don't know. A little bit longer, which is a concern. I think our platforms will not actually accept 3 20-meter long trains. This is actually a concern for us. How long are you? Are you maybe 225? 203. Oh, okay. So these are definitely 240-meter long platforms, which, yeah, that's not great. That does not support our use case here. We're going to need to extend these tracks if we want to run Avelia Liberties. Okay, crisis averted, as these platforms are actually 320 meters long. So we did think ahead. We didn't make all stupid decisions here. So we can actually get a couple of these in service. So our success with this motorway between El Paso and Richmond was short-lived. It has just, gone back to the how it was before. So that is unfortunate. I don't know if anyone's using this little back road that we set up. It doesn't look like anyone is at this point. Let's have a look at the destination layer, though. There's a few people using it, but not the 100 or couple of hundred odd that are using the motorway link. So I did mention maybe we might need to consider realigning this motorway and have an exit within the city itself. Maybe on the other side of the bridge here. The question is, how would we make that work, though? Could do sort of a pseudo-diamond type interchange sort of here or something. We might need to move our tram depot to facilitate that, but that's okay. We can definitely move that maybe over with our bus depot. I wonder if that would work. That's the question. Is it going to work? That's really, really what we need to think of. And I'm willing to give it a go. So we might remove... Oh, depot contains vehicles. What do we got in here? What are you doing? You can get on a line. Just pick one. You can go on that one. Okay. Just trying to work out in my head how this would work. So we might increase the width of this road. Remove this. Remove this one as well. And then what we will do is set up a little stub like so. This is literally just me thinking by the seat of my pants. I don't know if this even works. But I'm willing to give it a go. Apparently that's not actually very deep. We're going to have to push it a little bit further. Oh, hang on. Okay. Actually, probably need to go further out. Yeah, I'll definitely need to take these out a little bit further. Oh yeah, nowhere near low enough to connect there. challenge. Doing a bit more reorganizing to hopefully fix this. Yeah, not ideal. This entire road is a bit weird, isn't it? Okay, now's the time I'm going to pause, I think. And we're going to make the change, shall we say. Hopefully you're not one of those people who just sort of like goes into autopilot when you're driving on a road you've driven on before, because otherwise this might be very confusing for you if you were navigating this for the first time. You might, yeah, not have a great time, shall we say. We'll try our parallel tool again, if we can. No, we can't actually, because I haven't worked out how to do it underground. So we will lay these by hand, and that's probably okay. Okay, that was probably a massively needless deviation, but I'm keen to see how it goes. I am hopeful that we'll get some traction here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Big shout out to my Founders Club patron, Caleb. Caleb, thank you so much for helping to make this content possible. If you want to help out the channel, you can do so either by joining at patreon.com/BobDendry with a YouTube membership on the channel itself, or you can give a one-off super thanks if you enjoyed this video in particular. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.